Good morning. They are raising the retirement age here in Sweden. It was an agreement within most of the parties, from the left to the right. They gathered to talk about this. There were two parties who weren't invited to the talks, and those were the Communist Party and the Nationalist Party, the Sweden Democrats. So it seemed like a rush thing for them. They wanted enough time before this decision, between this decision and the election, which is in September next year, so that people would forget, right? Possibly. So, yeah. And people, the majority of the Swedish citizens, we understand exactly why this is happening. It's going up from 61 years old as the earliest age that you can retire in Sweden. It used to be 61 and now it's going up to 64, right? And we understand it's because they are running out of money. This mass immigration project is costing too much. It's so fucking expensive. I can't believe it. It affects so many areas of society: the police, the schools, the hospitals, so on, right? And less than 50% of these guys that are coming to Sweden are working after 9 years. So it's a disaster, and they have to do something. They can't turn this around. You have to start deporting people. That's the thing. They can't even imagine how to solve this. So now they did this. Okay. I also want to tell you about the news show that I watched yesterday, which was fascinating. You know, they never ever talk about raping anymore in Sweden. They haven't done it for a very, very long time because it's so common, first of all, I think. And it's sort of racist, right? Talk about rape. But yesterday they did. There is a serial raping gang active in Malmö. Bunch of guys raping young Swedish girls in Malmö. They now have 3 incidents that I know of. And they think it's the same gang, right? Very active. And we understand more or less who these guys are, what they are about. We understand. They didn't say anything about these guys' descriptions or anything. They just told, they told a story, basically, on the news. And then it was fascinating because next to this story in the news show was a story about Mr. Trump, you see. You had this opinion leader, Carl Bildt. He's the former foreign minister of Sweden. He was in the studio badmouthing Mr. Trump. Okay, so these two stories were next to each other. And I don't think they understand this connection, but there is a connection here. Of course there is. Because in Sweden, Mr. Trump is quite famous for what he said about Sweden some time ago. He said, look at Sweden, he said. Right? They are having problems. Right? And the reaction from Swedish press and Swedish politicians was to ridicule him. Yeah. So, I think this is amazing. You have these stories next to each other, right? This serial raping gang in Malmö, which of course is a result of mass immigration. Of course it is. And then in the next second, you badmouth Mr. Trump. Wow. It pisses me off to see this. it's also, it amazes me that they don't see this connection. They don't understand what they're doing. Alright, that's it. Bye.